Okay. Oh, music. Let's go. All right, folks, give me 1 second. Cousin, what's up? How's it going? Let me see here. I could probably do turn that up just a hair. Okay, so if you have any audio issues, let me know. What is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, and I feel weird not wearing any headphones. Got my Yeti microphone right here. Poop, poop. The ageless one of the man Lincoln Clay, and we are back to finish the conversation about these two headsets. The Oculus or MetaQuest Pro and the MetaQuest 3. And before we get into those comparisons, I do want to reiterate something that I said in the stream just a short time ago, that one thing I do not like when a new product or a new game comes out is when people make these videos like 5 reasons why you should buy this product, and then 2 days later turn around and make a video saying 5 reasons why you shouldn't buy this product. I feel like it's it waters down the message and tries to break it up into unnecessary pieces in order for clicks and views. I think it only takes one video to say what you like about the product and what you don't like about the product, and then make a recommendation on whether someone should buy it or not. You know, I like, it kind of gets on my nerves when I see that shit. And should you buy? And then you click on the video, and all they really do is just tell you about the game. Okay, the game launches on this day. It was developed by this publisher, you know, by this development studio. It launched for this price. The game is basically a shooter, yada yada yada, where your objective is to do this and do this and do this and do this. And then at the end, they say, you make the decision. Is this a buy for you? And I'm like, all you did was like, you wasted everybody's time. You didn't tell them whether, you didn't say whether you should buy it or not. You basically told them what the game is about, and then hit them with that, hit them with that sleep tactic, and like, let me know in the comments what you think. Are you gonna pick this game up? I was like, so, I have no reason to do that, especially being that, one thing I will not do is sacrifice my integrity for clicks and views. He said, facts, lots of space channels do the same thing. Yeah, exactly. And so the other thing that I get tired of is seeing a whole bunch of these videos that says my honest review. And then they turn around and tell you that Bloody Face invited you to a party. Who the hell is that? Radio Run. Yo Lincoln, just showed my neighbor some VR games. Showed First Encounters, Demeo, GT7, and the PSVR 2. He kind of got sick of GT7. I can see where that might happen, because the very first time I sim raced in VR was when I played Drive Club on the demo disc on the original PSVR 1. And I did get a little bit sick, but the game that made me like super sick was Riggs. So yeah, it took a little while for me to get my VR legs underneath me. But now, I mean, like sim racing, I can't race without a VR headset because, as I was saying on the Crewcast, shout out to Gamertag, that VR is a necessary tool for me to race. Without it, I can't race. I'm not near as effective. So I know I was gonna say something about the shit that content creators do. Oh, the my honest review. And then, 2 seconds into the video, they tell you that this company, sent you the item for free, and that has no effect on my opinion, and my opinions are my own, and all that kind of shit. So it's not saying that these people are lying. I'm just saying that I'm seeing like titles like that plastered all over the place. My honest review of Forza Motorsports. My honest review of the, Quest 3 headset. All that shit. Just, when you put honest in the headline, you're already making me feel like you're probably not going to be honest. Just say how you feel and then just give the recommendations afterwards. Simple as that. So, Kevin, hi Lincoln, bought a Quest 3 today, returning it tomorrow. Compression, artifacts, and some PC games too jarring. Will keep playing on the horrible G2 lenses for now. Well, I guess maybe that's me accepting that the compression is just part of using the meta headsets. But I don't know, maybe I just don't notice it because I don't really pay attention to it, especially when I'm sim racing. I'm so caught up in the race that I guess I don't have time to really look around and see if shit looks pixelated on the edge, or see if I see some aberration or artifacts, what have you. The G2, I have a G2 as well, along with these, along with this Quest and the Quest Pro. I have a G2 as well. I mean, I have 8 headsets here, and it's not visible in some games. Yeah, I would probably agree. I'll say this about the G2. At the time that I got it, it was the sharpest headset I ever had. And when I got the Pro, I was going like this for days trying to decide which one was the sharper headset. And there were some games where the Pro was sharper, and there were games where the G2 was sharper. The big difference was the pancake lenses on the Pro. Everything was clear from one side to the other. Whereas with the G2, everything was only clear within the sweet spot, and it was a really small sweet spot, just like PSVR 2. And if you go outside of that sweet spot, everything is either blurry or soft. And that's why the Quest Pro got the nod over the G2 as far as what was going to be my daily driver. I will say that yeah, pancake lenses are the future. The thing, and that's the one thing I love about this, is that now that this headset has pancake lenses are now the industry standard. So to me, the PlayStation VR now remains the only major headset that does not have pancake lenses. And to me, PlayStation VR 2 already feels like a dinosaur. I mean, people talk about it being an amazing piece of tech, but it already feels like a dinosaur to me. You know, I think one of the things, a couple of things that the PlayStation VR has that's nicer than the other headsets, the head haptics. I do like the head haptics, especially when I'm playing Pavlov and you get shot in the head, you feel it. You know, you feel the vibration in the headset. The other thing would be the HDR, but because of the brightness of the headset when I first got it, along with the reprojection, the HDR was kind of the furthest thing from my mind, because I was struggling with trying to decide whether I liked the headset or not, because I found the reprojection off-putting. So, coming back to the G2, to put this in a nutshell, I think if the G2 had pancake lenses, it would definitely be a pickup over the Quest 3. So, getting into Quest 3 versus Quest Pro, I'm going to break it down. Let's see. I really like the PSVR 2 colors, brightness. I think it just needs stronger hardware. PS5 Pro. See, I said that a long time ago. I tried to tell people that I thought the PS5 was underpowered for VR because, you know, I think the reprojection is proof of that. Because these games are actually running at 60 frames per second with 60 artificial frames. Therefore, you have the reprojection. But I still would not buy a PS5 Pro until I know for certain that Sony will give publishers and developers the freedom to decide the frame rate. So, case in point, let's say you got a first-person shooter game that's 120 frames reprojected. Sony could mandate that it has to be 120 frames reprojected on the Pro as well in order to have parity. Because I think the PS4 Pro was a waste. The thing had double the power of the PlayStation 4, but nobody really took advantage of it. I mean, you got games that just barely look better than the PS4, and because Sony mandated parity, you had a lot of games on the PS4 Pro that could have done 60 frames per second, but because Sony wanted parity across the board, it had to be 30 frames per second on the Pro as well. So it was a waste of money. I think that was a good console that was really wasted. So coming back to these headset comparisons, Quest 3, Quest Pro, what I'm going to break it down is PC. You know, both headsets is a PC headset. Both headsets pass through. Both headsets standalone. Comfort, audio. As far as, you know, if something else, if I can think of something else, then yeah. And if you guys have any questions, yeah, feel free to ask. And as I said in an earlier stream, I'm pretty much like, I didn't even bother booting up my my Quest 2, because it already knew that it was the Quest 3 was gonna beat the Quest 2 across the board. It wasn't even gonna be a contest. So let's start with Quest Pro versus Quest 3 as a PC headset. For those of you that just watched my stream, initially, glory, how's it going? Initially, I thought that the Quest 3, and this is based on me playing a set of Corsa Competizione, the stream that I just got done with. Initially, I thought the Quest 3 was a little bit darker than the Quest Pro. And then, as the stream went along, I felt like maybe I was seeing that the Quest 3 had a little bit less screen door, but still felt like the Quest Pro might be the sharper headset. It definitely ran. It definitely ran good. And so after that stream was over, I went back into the Pro, and then I started doing this, you know, going back and forth. And what I came up with is that the Quest Pro, the colors on the Quest Pro, I think they still have more pop. And the Quest Pro, as a PC headset, I'm speaking as a PC headset, the Quest Pro still has the sharper picture. And I think it comes down to that, I think the Quest Pro probably has better panels, because I think the Quest Pro has QLED panels, whereas the Quest 3 has LCD panels. And I think there's a reason why they priced the Quest Pro at $1,500 initially and priced the Quest 3 at $500. Said that's good. I'm sticking to Pro then. No need to upgrade. Now, I'm not done yet. So, to wrap that up, the Quest Pro will continue to be my PC headset. Not only because it's, you know, the colors are still, because the colors got more pop and it has a sharper picture because of the dynamic foveated rendering that you get from the eye tracking. So whenever I use the OpenXR toolkit, the dynamic foveated rendering, the same way it works on the PlayStation VR 2, allows me to look all over the place, and everything is clear no matter where I look. So so yeah, with that being said, the Pro will remain my PC headset. Next I want to talk about is audio. The Quest 3 appears to be louder. Initially, I thought that the Quest Pro might have had more bass, but I'm still not sure on that. That's just something I'm going to have to go back and do some more testing, but I do think I can clearly tell you that the Quest 3 audio is a little bit louder than the Quest Pro. And so, and I guess to jump back to the color thing, I think with the Quest 3, the colors seem to be a little bit darker. And again, the Quest Pro was sharper. As far as the screen door, I initially thought that the Quest 3 might have had less screen door, but I think it's about the same. So the bottom line is Quest Pro, better color, sharper picture. And I think screen door is probably about the same on both headsets. It was really hard to tell. So again, because of those, the Quest Pro will remain my PC headset. And I just explained the audio, that I think Quest 3 is louder. As far as which one has more bass is really hard to tell, because I think the Quest 3 is noticeably louder than the Quest Pro, but I haven't really checked out anything where bass within the audio would be prominent. That's something I'm gonna have to go back and do some more testing. So next, let's get into pass-through. The pass-through is better on the Pro. It's better on the Quest 3. No question about it. Earlier today, my friend Ham, he did a live stream running some live tests on the Quest 3. And he's also had the Pimax Crystal, as a loaner from Pimax. And he said that in terms of the visuals, if the Pimax Crystal was a 10, he would give the Quest 3 a 7.5. I can go for that, because I'm jumping around a little bit, but if I were to give, I would probably give the sharpness, the colors, all that stuff on the Pro 8 or even an 8.5, and I would give the Quest 3 a 7. Pass through, yeah, hands down, that goes to the Quest 3. It's true that the pass through on the Quest 3 is a slightly grainy, but the Quest Pro is a lot more grainy. And not only that, any screens like a monitor, a TV, a phone, it lights up bright white and you cannot read anything. Whereas with the Quest 3, yes, you can read it. Now, depending on what you're looking at, like if you're at a distance away, this monitor it might look bright white, but as soon as you get closer to it, the colors start to sort themselves out, and then all the text starts to come into view. So, and I think we can use the pass-throughs to segue into mixed reality. I took a look at a couple of games. I took a look at about 3 games on the Quest 3. I took a look at 11 Table Tennis, Population 1, and naturally... No, we're still on the mixed reality thing. Let me back up. So, mixed reality. I took a look at 11 Table Tennis, Thrill of the Fight, and the First Encounter. I took a look at all 3 of those on the Quest 3, but then I came back and took a look at Thrill of the Fight on the Quest Pro. I would say graphically, as far as the graphics goes, both of them are the same. It was hard for me to tell them apart, but because the Quest 3 has a better pass-through, the game looked better on the Quest 3, just on the simple fact of it having a better pass-through. Let me see here. Comfort. Let's talk about comfort. I think it's a push. I don't think either headset is necessarily comfortable, but I don't think either headset is uncomfortable. It's just what's the word I'm looking for? I'm good with it. The big thing about the Quest 3, initially I was a little bit apprehensive about these straps because on the Quest 2, those straps are dog shit, because it's just, I think it was just poor design, because the straps on the Quest 2 would basically sit on my ears and it would feel like it was digging into my ears, so it was very uncomfortable. In the case of the Quest 3, these straps do not sit on my ears, therefore it is not uncomfortable. Let's talk about the FOV, the field of view. Now, this Quest 3 is supposed to have a field of view, a horizontal field of view of 110 degrees, and then the Quest Pro has a horizontal FOV of 105 degrees, but yet the FOV feels wider in the Pro. And I think a big reason because of that is this face gasket of the Quest 3, to me, is kind of deep. I mean, look how deep those lenses sit inside the face gasket. And then because it's basically like a shell, you know, it's only so far your face is going to press into it. And then I don't think you have an option like the Pro where you can bring the lenses, because with the Pro you have this dial right here which brings the lenses further or closer to your eyes depending on what you want to do. And then you also have these rubber side blockers, so the FOV feels wider on the Pro, even though it's supposed to be a little bit more narrow at 105 degrees. The FOV on the Quest 3 makes me feel like I'm looking through binoculars, just like it was on the Quest 2. And I think it's got to do with this really deep set face gasket. Can you slide your face cover deeper into the headset to make the FOV bigger? Not really. I mean, it doesn't really seem to be anything you can do to bring the lenses closer to your face with the Quest 3. I think the only thing you can really do is just use these straps to make it tighter. Whereas, so yeah, there's no dial on the bottom of it. What you got on the bottom of the Quest 3, you've got your volume and you got your IPD adjustment dial right there. Has buttons on the inner side of the cover. Okay. I think I see the buttons that you're talking about. Oh, okay, I see. All right, let's try this real quick. It only slid in like a It only slid in like a hair. Yeah, the lenses definitely feel. Let me turn this on for a second and see what we got, because the lenses do feel a little bit closer now. So thanks. I never knew that. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I think that made a difference. I mean, not much. It wasn't It wasn't save the world difference, but yeah, I think it made a little bit of a difference. I don't like that though. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, that definitely helps though. All right. Cool. That's good to know. Thank you. So now I'm feeling like maybe the FOV is about the same as the Pro, even though it's still supposed to be bigger than the Pro, because the Pro felt bigger at first. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a cheap adjustment right there. But hey, at least it's got one. But that definitely helped, even if it only slid it forward like an eighth of an inch or something. You're learning too? All right, cool. So, what do we want to talk about next? So we've gone over headset, the PC headset. We've gone over audio, comfort, field of view, pass through. We've gone through mixed reality. I think there's only one more thing to cover, and that would be standalone. That right there is where the Quest 3 blows the Quest Pro out of the water. The game that showed me that was Population 1. As far as games that have gotten a Quest 3 enhancement that I played Population 1, and I took a look at Red Matter 2. When I saw Population 1, I was like, damn, this is PC. So I go back and look at the PC version of Population 1, and the difference was the sharpness. In terms of the sharpness, I would give the PC a 10, and I would give the Quest 3 a 9. I mean, because I saw the Quest 3 version first. I put it on, took a look at it, I said, like, boom, right there, I was like, this looks like the PC version. Then I go into and check out the PC version, and then again, I'm going like this, back and forth between PC and Quest 3. J-Wags, I'll never get any VR that isn't PlayStation. Man, we probably don't want to go into that, man, because I am kind of disappointed with PlayStation VR 2. That's almost a conversation for another day, or if I'm willing to talk about it tonight, I gotta finish up this Quest talk. PlayStation VR is trash. Honestly, I think thank God I got rid of it day 2. Wow. Said, no, I love my PSVR 1 and 2. I mean, I got nothing against it. And went with the Q Pro 4090. There you go. There you go. There you go. Quest Pro. And my PC with the 4090 is in there. This PC that I'm sitting at right here has a 3080 Ti. Oh yeah, I'm disappointed with the lack of first-party support. You know what, J-Wags? I'm starting to wonder if Sony was only giving people enough games just to get the ball rolling and then expect third parties to take over from there. Because in terms of first party, what we have gotten from PlayStation VR 2, said thanks to Lincoln and Half. There you go, there you go. First party, what we've gotten is we've gotten Horizon Call of the Mountain, which was a good looking game, but the reprojection made the shit look blurry and off-putting. Same thing with Gran Turismo 2. The reprojection made it look blurry. And then Resident Evil Village and the upcoming Resident Evil 4 remake. Officially, those are exclusives in terms of VR, in terms of official VR support. But over here on the PC side, you have people like Luke Ross and Praydog that mod damn near every AAA game that comes out. So any game that's third party that's on PC, you can pretty much play it in VR because somebody has done a mod for it, or you can use like Vorpex and shit like that. That will like take the file and generate like a 3D version of it or some shit like that. So Resident Evil Village, I have already played it in VR on PC. Resident Evil 4 Remake, I don't know if there's a mod for it out there yet on PC, but I haven't really gone out of my way to look for it. So, but yeah, after Resident Evil Resident Evil 4 Remake, Sony hasn't told us anything. They march to the beat of their own drum. They tell us shit when they feel like it. That is, unless somebody leaks out some information and then they feel like they got to get on top of it. I mean, when that information came out about them getting hacked, they stayed quiet for a couple of days and then they eventually had to come out and admit it. So yeah, the standalone part, coming back to the two Quest headsets. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Sony marketing is boo boo. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was a no contest with Population 1. And then here's the thing about Population 1. So I looked at the PC version, then I looked at the Quest 3 version. I mean, they like this far apart in terms of sharpness and shit like that. And then I went and looked at it in the Quest Pro, and it looked like dog shit because the Quest Pro still has the Quest 2 version of the game, and it was blurry, a lot of details missing. If you have Quest 3, like if you got the Quest, it's a fun game. But I'm saying that if you want to see it with the best visuals, either play it on PC or play it on Quest 3. It looks best on those two. It does not look good, in my opinion, on the Quest Pro or the Quest 2, because you have to remember that I think with the Quest Pro, it still has the Quest 2 chip in it, just been reconfigured, and they try to make it sound like it's some kind of mid-gen chip. I don't really know. But I will say that with the Quest Pro, when it comes to standalone games, that's where the Quest 3 blows it out of the water, because with Quest Pro, all the games basically look Quest 2, and a lot of them don't look that good. The pancake lenses don't really help. Walkabout, Resident Evil 4 and Robo Recall look crisp too. No update though. Walkabout could get an update. Resident Evil 4, that would be nice if it got an update. And I guess if we want to take a quick minute to talk about games that I'd like to see get the Quest 3 enhancements, I'd like to see Creed Rise to Glory. I would like to see that get a Quest 3 enhancement, because if it gets the Quest 3 enhancement, it will be pretty close to the PSVR 2 version, because right now the latest version of Creed is called Creed Championship Edition or Ultimate Championship Edition, and it's only available on PSVR 2 and Quest 2. And what I think happened is, I think Sony paid Servios to keep Creed off of PC, so the PSVR 2 would be the best version of it. And it is the best looking version of it, because the Quest 2 version of it looks like dog shit. But, however, it is the best way to play it because there is no wires. That being said, if Creed Ultimate Championship Edition were to get the Quest 3 enhancement, I would probably never play the PSVR 2 version again because that cord is in the way. And then yeah, I took a look at Red Matter, and I'll tell you, this is how good Red Matter looked on the Quest 3. Naturally, PC was the sharpest. I think, in all fairness, I had the brightness turned down on PSVR 2 because that was one of the things you had to do in order to get rid of some of the reprojection. But I would say that the PC version of Red Matter 2 had the sharpest picture. The PSVR 2 version had the second sharpest picture, and Quest 3 was third. But if you want me to put a number on it, in terms of the sharpness, I would say the PC was a 10. PSVR is a 9, and Quest 3 is an 8.5. So Population 1 and Red Matter 2 look good enough on the Quest 3 that if I'm in my bedroom and my Quest 3 happens to be at my feet and I feel like playing some Population 1, I'll play it right then and there, because some days I don't feel like going through the bullshit of booting up a computer, closing all kinds of shit that's running in the background, opening up this app for this and that, and fire the game up and then turn on my Quest Pro and then activate the Quest link, or Rift link, all that bullshit, so supposedly most games got a 30% rendering boost, so they look like more high res even without update. Well, there's no question with Population 1. I saw the difference right out the gate, and I had not seen Population 1 on the Quest 2 in months. But yet, when I put the Quest 3 on and I saw Population 1, I instantly thought it was the PC version. It was just that close. So I would say, to get ready to wrap this thing up, as a PC headset, the Quest Pro is still going to be my daily driver. That's what I'm rolling with. The Quest 3 has better pass-throughs. Mixed reality experiences will be better on Quest 3. And as far as standalone goes, it's a no-brainer. Quest 3. It's not even close. That being said, my recommendations, assuming you already have a Pro, if you are just looking for a strict 100% PC headset, then I don't recommend getting a Quest 3. But if you want better looking mixed reality experiences, because the Quest Pro does the mixed reality experiences too, but because the pass-through is so much grainier than the Quest 3, the mixed reality experiences look better on the Quest 3. So for mixed reality, if you already have a Pro, I would recommend the Quest 3 over the Pro for mixed reality, and I would recommend the Quest 3 over the Pro for standalone. Assassin's Creed on Quest will be awesome. Yeah, I'm going to grab that. And then for every person, at first they try to like scare people into pre-ordering. Like leading up to the release of Quest 3, if you pre-ordered the headset, you would get a free copy of Asgard's Wrath 2. And I just said, fuck it, I'm going to roll the dice and I'm going to wait until the day it releases. And I did not pre-order it. After I got out of work, I just simply drove to Target and bought one. But yet, I still got the Asgard's Wrath free. And as soon as I booted the headset up and got everything set up and went into the Quest store, there it was right there, Asgard's Wrath 2, and it said get. And I just clicked the button, and that was it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to check out Quest. I'm definitely going to check out Assassin's Creed. Naturally going to check out Asgard's Wrath 2. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Breachers when it gets the Quest 3 update. But the real thing that I'm looking forward to with Quest 3 is Dr. Beef. Seeing what he can do with that extra power. They're already working on stuff. They're already talking about it. Quest 4, Quake 4 and some other games. They are working on it. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, it's going to be so cool. In my opinion, I think what we could get from Dr. Beef is late PS3 games or early PS4 games playable on Quest 3. That's going to be so cool. Do you think Wi-Fi 6 can replace the cable with PC? I am tempted to get a Wi-Fi 6 router and go cable free with PC. I think Ham is the person to talk to about that, because Ham has a Wi-Fi 6 router, and I think he said something about it having less latency, better performance. But I'm a firm believer that direct cable will always be the fastest connection. So that being said, all my PCs all of them are hardwired. My two PlayStations and my Xbox are connected to the Wi-Fi because they are not high priority as far as gaming to me. My PCs, all three of my PCs have a higher priority than my consoles. So all three of my PCs, take that back. All three of my PCs are hardwired, and one of my PlayStations is hardwired. The PlayStation that I play GT7 on, that one is hardwired, but this PlayStation is sitting right up underneath me right here. That one is Wi-Fi. He had a video. We'll check it out. Yeah, just like go to his latest stream and just leave a question in the comment section and ask him, ask him his opinion on the Wi-Fi 6 versus a cable. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer it for you. So, I think that's about it. I think that's all I got. I know I want to play something, but I don't know what. Everything I have, PC, PS5, and an Xbox, are all wired. It's just the cable from Quest get a bit tough to manage. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm still using the 5 gigahertz router that was provided to me by our cable company, Xfinity. And as far as Ethernet port goes, I'm only able to hardwire 4 devices. I don't know how many devices I can connect wirelessly, though. Congrats again on the headset. Thanks. I mean, I guess FOMO probably got the better of me, because Ham says I'm one of the worst people he knows when it comes to FOMO sometimes. Sometimes I do something, I'll say I'm not going to get anything, and then I'll rush out and get it. And in the case of the Quest 3, I never said that I wasn't going to get it, but I have said I don't need it. I've said that a bunch of times. And when I did come to the conclusion that I was going to go ahead and pick up one, I was thinking that, okay, I'll go ahead and get it, and if I don't like it, I'll just simply return it. But I say that Quest 3 has definitely closed the gap between standalone VR and PC VR. I think games that are built from the ground up, games that are not very demanding. So like I think that let's say they were to put Half-Life Alyx on Quest 3. I think they could get it to look good for a mobile headset, but I think the PC version would still be leaps and bounds, better in terms of the visuals. Said FOMO got the better of me too, but the refund gonna go even crazier. I'll say this. With Quest 2, I thought it was pretty cool that we had a mobile headset. So whenever I wanted to go somewhere, I could take the headset with me. But in the beginning, I did take the headset with me. But when I would get somewhere and I would see them watered down graphics and really bland environments. Cold Yogurt. I saw a Quest Pro at Best Buy for $650. Unless you want to use it as a PC VR headset, I don't recommend you get it, because I saw that you got a Quest 3. And as far as I'm concerned, even if you already and even if you wanted to use the Pro as a PC headset, it's not going to be that big of a jump over the Quest 3. I would say as a PC headset, the Quest 3 looks good enough that if I did not have a Quest Pro, I probably wouldn't go out and get one. Now, being that I have two Quest Pros, I will say this. If it would have turned out that the Quest 3 would have looked better than the Quest Pros as a PC headset, I would have strongly considered selling one of my Quest Pros. But now that I've confirmed that the Quest Pro is a better looking PC headset than the Quest 3, I will be keeping my Quest Pros, both of them, and they will be my daily drivers. And the Quest 3 will be primarily used for mixed reality and standalone VR. And that leads me to finish what I was going to say, that a couple of years ago, when you go from playing games on a 3080 Ti to going down to the Quest 2, it's a massive difference. And some of those games on the Quest 2 look so bad that I was like, fuck that, I'm not bringing that headset with me anymore. The Quest 3, if Population 1 and Red Matter 2 is anything to go by, moving forward, if I go anywhere, like go visit a friend or something like that for a second, I'm taking the Quest 3 with me. Because now I'm bringing, because like, again, if those two games are anything to go by, PC VR on the go is here. Now, I think you should get the Quest 3 and not Pro. The controllers and open design, not that leap. Well, Gory, he already has the Quest 3. He's saying that he saw the Quest Pro for $650. And I'm telling him that the only advantage, Tantrum, how's it going? And I'm telling Yogurt that the only advantage that the Quest Pro has over the Quest 3 is as a PC headset. The colors of the Quest Pro have more pop, and the picture is sharper. So if he wants to spend the money and he wants to use it as a PC headset, sure. But Yogurt, he also has a Valve Index. So I don't know. I mean, in terms of the visuals, the Quest 3 and the Quest Pro would be a huge jump over the Valve Index in terms of the visuals. So yeah, there you have it there. I do not regret buying my Quest Pros, even though I knew the Quest 3 was around the corner. The only thing that bothered me, the only regret I have about purchasing my Quest Pros is the first one I bought. I bought it at Best Buy for $1,000. But I was checking eBay hoping to get one cheaper, and people were still asking like $900 for a used headset. And I'm like, I already did that a couple of times. Like this PC right here that's got a 3080 Ti in it, I bought that off of eBay when COVID was going down and everybody was scalping shit left and right. So this 3080 Ti at the time, it retailed for $1,200. And I paid $14 for it on eBay. And that was a risk because not only were people scalping shit left and right back then because of COVID, you also had the crypto miners going crazy too. So I had no idea what this GPU might have been through. But I will say that, you know, when it arrived, it was spotless. I mean, it looked brand new and looked like it was barely used. Get Synth Riders. It has mixed reality. I tried it. It's gimmicky, but will wow people. I mean, now my stance on the mixed reality, when I bought the Quest 3, I had no interest in mixed reality whatsoever. You know, matter of fact, you know, mixed reality, I had it right up under my nose, but never used it with the Quest Pro. All this time that I had the Quest Pro, the mixed reality experiences were there, and I never used it because I had zero interest in mixed reality. But once I got the Quest 3 and decided to give First Encounters a try, and I was like, hey, this mixed reality thing is actually kind of cool. But I would never take it serious. I will say now, Thrill of the Fight, the boxing game Thrill of the Fight, it does have mixed reality support. Now that was huge. The reason why is because when I play Thrill of the Fight, sure, it's more immersive when you're fighting in a stadium that looks like it's got 20,000 people in there. But I don't know my surroundings because I don't have a lot of room to move around in here, because I'll get up and show you, like, here's a wall right here and here's the other wall right here. So I don't have a lot of room to move around. Here's one wall here and wall here, one wall here. So I don't have a lot of room to move around. So whenever I played Thrill of the Fight, I was scared to let go with my punches because I was scared I was going to hit the wall. But once I tried Thrill of the Fight in mixed reality, I was totally aware of my surroundings. So I could see how far away that wall was. And normally I would fight stationary. I wouldn't move. But once I did it in mixed reality and I was aware of my surroundings and I could see everything, I started moving and I was able to hit the AI from different angles, and I was able to get good clean punches on him, and it made it easier to knock him out. You know, and I was connecting with good crisp punches. So they're playing Thrill of the Fight in mixed reality. there is a trade-off. You lose some immersion because we're fighting inside the living room here. But because I can see my surroundings, I can move around, and based on my positions, I can decide whether I want to let loose and set my feet and throw a super hard punch, or just whatever. But when you fighting in total virtual reality, sure, the Guardian comes up, but if I'm throwing a punch and the Guardian comes up and then wham, my fist hits the wall, it's too late. Now I just broke my hand. So yeah, Thrill of the Fight, mixed reality, I can let loose with the punches. So the experience is better, but the immersion isn't as good as full-blown virtual reality. Bro Science, I was just playing Thrill of the Fight mixed reality on my Quest 3. I like it. I also played it on my Quest Pro, but the pass-through cameras of the Quest Pro are a lot more grainier than Quest 3. So it was better. So Thrill of the Fight mixed reality, any mixed reality experience is better on Quest 3. I also took a look at 11 Table Tennis in mixed reality on the Quest 3. That is another game. Like, when I first played 11 Table Tennis, let me get up again right here. I'm about right here, and I'm one of those guys. When I play table tennis, I'm one of those guys that take the big wind up like that and swing like that. And there was a couple of times where I hit the wall right here, or I was reaching and hit the wall over here. Playing 11 Table Tennis in mixed reality, again, it's another one of those situations where it's not as immersive because I'm not in a gym setting or a tournament setting, but the experience is better because I am aware of my surroundings. So when the ball hits the table and it goes off the table, I can make the decision, hey, I think I can reach this ball, I'll try to return it, or no, this ball is headed straight for the wall, I'm not going to go after it because I'll bang my hand on the wall trying to hit it. You guys sold me on Thrill of the Fight. We'll get it soon. I don't know what it costs now, but I know at one point it was $10. You know what? Not only that, Cold Yogurt, buy Thrill of the Fight. Make sure you buy it at the Oculus store or whatever, because of cross-buy. You'll only need to buy it once, and you'll get it both on PC and standalone. But I will tell you that the PC version of Thrill of the Fight does not support mixed reality. It's only on standalone headsets. So I don't know if it's in mixed reality on the Quest 2, but I wouldn't want to play it that way through those black and white pass-throughs. But it does have mixed reality on the Quest Pro as well as the Quest 3. Try Forever Pool in mixed reality. You get to walk around a pool table in your living room. Yeah, I've seen clips for that. I think I'm going to get it. Also, Forever Bowl has mixed reality support as well. But I think when it comes to bowling in VR, I think Premium Bowling is a better game. That's another game, so yeah, let's talk about other games that I'd like to see get the Quest 3 support. The Quest 3 enhancements. So I already mentioned Creed. I'd like to see that game get a Quest 3 enhancement. Premium Bowling that I just mentioned, I'd like to see that get a Quest 3 enhancement. I'd like to see Grid Legends get the Quest 3 enhancement, because that version we got on the Quest 2, now the audio, the handling, that was, the audio, it was all good, but the graphics was dog shit. So I'd like to see Grid Legends get the Quest 3 update. What else? I hope like the standalone versions of Contractors and Onward and Pavlov, I'd like to see those games get the Quest 3 enhancements. Legends, sit in your real car. See, Resident Evil VR is next level on Quest 3. I haven't tried it yet. I mean, because I've taken a look at it on my Quest Pro, and this was before Quest 3 came out. I took a look at it a couple of months ago. So I bought the game when it came out, and it looked a little bit better on the Quest Pro. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll look better on Quest 3 or not, being that it hasn't gotten the Quest 3 enhancements yet. I'll ask you what I ask others. If you could only afford one headset, Quest 3 or PSVR 2, granted, if you have a PS5, okay, Tantrum, I've already said that with Quest 3 having pancake lenses, all the major headsets now have pancake lenses. So pancake lenses are now industry standard. The Pico headsets have pancake lenses. The Meta headsets have pancake lenses. The Vario has pancake lenses. The Pimax has spheric lenses, but I'm just going to say that that's their version of pancake lenses. So now, in my opinion, despite the tech that PSVR 2 was supposed to have in it, PSVR 2 already feels like a dinosaur. Then you also factor in these bad launches that we've had, and the crazy part about these bad launches that we've had on PSVR 2, they were bad launches of Quest games, the weakest hardware. It should be a given that if they do a Quest port from the Quest to the PSVR, not only it's supposed to look better and it's supposed to run better, but we have been getting broken, blurry messes and deceptive marketing, and in my opinion, straight up lies. I think Quest 3 has changed the game enough that if somebody were to come to me and say, I want to get into VR, but I only have so much money I want to spend, what do you recommend? I would tell them to get the Quest 3. If you want to play games, native VR games, but if you want to play racing games and like flight sim games, I would tell them to get a PC and get a headset. In fact, the only way I can recommend PSVR 2 for anyone is if they already have a PS5 and they already got their mind made up that they want to get a PSVR 2. If they come to me and say, I'm getting PSVR 2, I'll say go for it. If they come to me and say, what would you recommend? Again, if money's not an issue, I would tell them get a PC. If they say I don't want to spend that much money, my next move would be to recommend Quest 3 for them. Because now, like Red Matter 2, when I looked at Red Matter 2, I looked at it on Quest 3 first. I said, holy fuck, this is PC. And then I checked out the PC version. Then I checked out the PlayStation VR version. And I spent I was like this, about a half an hour. For like a half an hour, I kept switching headsets because I had Red Matter running on all three headsets at the same time. So I'm constantly going like this. And it probably took about a half an hour for me to start to see the differences. And as I was saying it, if Red Matter and Population 1 is any indication, I would recommend Quest 3 over PSVR 2. Because now you're getting graphics that are in the ballpark of PSVR 2 for half the money, because you don't need a console to go with it. You spend $500 for the headset and that's it. You know, people talk about, you know, they talk about this barrier to entry, PSVR 2 versus PC VR. Let's talk about the barrier to entry. PlayStation 5 costs $500 and it's $550 outside of the United States. So $550 for the console, $550 for the headset. Now you're up to $1,100. And then the other thing that you have to keep in mind is PlayStation Plus, because they raised the price of PlayStation Plus. Now you're paying $80 a year. If you're willing to buy secondhand parts, you can build a good PC for $1,000 or less. If you're willing to buy secondhand parts, you can build a PC with a 3080 in it. In my opinion, the PS5 has graphical power that's equivalent to a 2070. So again, if you're willing to buy some secondhand parts, I think you can build a PC with a 3080 in it for around $1,000. And if you're willing to spend an extra $500, you can throw in the Quest 3 with it. And now you got the best of both worlds. You got PC VR, and then when you're on the go, you got one hellified standalone headset. So it's almost like you got PC with you 24/7. But again, if you go the PlayStation 5 PSVR 2 route, you start out paying $1,100. But then you're paying $80 a year for PlayStation Plus. And then here's the thing about it. The majority, I'll put it to you this way. Out of all the multiplayer games on PlayStation VR 2, the only one that is a Sony exclusive is GT7 and Firewall. The rest of them are third-party games. Pavlov, Alvo. Those are third-party games that you can play on PC or standalone. The PC version of Alvo is coming along here in a couple of months. And I do know Steve. And I will contact him and ask him if, you know, the Quest 3 is going to get an enhancement for Alvo. And if the Quest 3 gets an Alvo, if the Alvo gets a Quest 3 enhancement, I think it'll look just as good as PSVR 2. And you won't need PlayStation Plus to play multiplayer games. That's the X factor right there. So, $1,100 for PSVR 2 and PS5, and then $80 a year minimum for PlayStation Plus. If you get the higher tiers, you're looking at $135 or $160 a year. But minimum $80 a year. After 3 years, you spent $1,100 for the hardware, and you spent $240 for PlayStation Plus. So now you're up to $1,340. That being said, spend a couple of dollars more and build a PC and get in. And if you don't want to spend the $500 for Quest 3, you can still go extra cheap if you want. You can still get like a Quest 2 off of eBay for like $150. Or if you want to go even cheaper than that, you can probably, my guess is you can probably find a Rift S on eBay for $100 or less. So if you want me to break it down like that, you can actually build a PC and get a VR headset that outperforms PS5 for the same amount of money or less. As I was saying, that if you're willing to buy secondhand parts, you can build a PC with a 3080 in it for about $1,000. If you're willing to go a little bit lower and like you want to put like a 2070 in there, you could probably build a PC with secondhand parts for like $700 or $800. When it comes to building PCs, the most expensive part of the PC is the GPU and the CPU. After that, a lot of shit you can find like $100 or less. I mean, this PC right here that I'm sitting at right here that's got the 3080 in it, it's got a 700 watt power supply, which I should put a stronger power supply in it because my 4090 has a 1000 watt power supply, but this one has a 700 watt power supply that I bought for Best Buy for $50. CPU cooler for $50. Motherboard I bought off I think Amazon for $115. ASRock. 500 gig M.2 drive for $50. And then, so if you were to go to eBay, you could probably get a 3080 off of eBay, give or take. Give or take $300 or $400. Now I got a spare 2070 laying around. I checked the prices on 2070s. I get one of those for about $200. Now, let's say you want to build a PC with a 2070 in it. As I was saying, you could build a PC with a 2070 in it for about $700 or $800, and it matches the price. It matches the performance of the PS5. I think it even outperforms. I think it still outperforms the PS5 because you can still choose your frame rates and stuff like that, and if you want to go super cheap, you can get a Rift S for about $100 or even cheaper off of eBay. So now we talking $800 for a PC and a VR headset. If you're willing to go the secondhand route versus the $1,100 that you would spend for a PlayStation VR and a PS5 and the $80 a year that you would pay for PlayStation Plus. A lot of these people that talk about the barrier to entry and shit like that, sure, a PSVR 2 versus PC, if you're talking like new part for new part, then yeah, PSVR 2 and PS5 is the lower barrier to entry, but it'll cost you more over the long haul. A PS5 will cost more than a $1,000 PC over the long haul. Again, $80 a year for PlayStation Plus, and then you're still paying $70 for some of these games. And if you have the digital, whereas with PC, you have numerous ways of getting games cheap, like G2A, Humble Bumble, CD keys and shit like that. I mean, I've gotten games for PC. When I go to PlayStation, it was still like $60 and shit like that, and I go to G2A and I got the game for $15. You know, that kind of shit. So whenever these fanboys start talking about the barrier to entry and shit like that with a PS5 versus a PC, Yeah, the barrier to entry is going to be cheaper in the beginning, but it's going to be more over the long haul. So let me come back. 100% PS5 can't run VR. Tantrum. If you can compare No Man's Sky VR 2 and then No Man's Sky PC VR with Quest 3, I can tell you this. After that latest update, I had tried No Man's Sky on both PSVR 2 and on PC, and it wasn't close. My PC with the 4090, it was a big difference. I could definitely tell the difference. It wasn't a situation where I had to keep going like this with the headsets. I looked at the PSVR 2 version, then I put on my Quest Pro on my 4090 PC, and boom, I saw the difference right then and there. It wasn't a case where I had to keep going back and forth with the headsets. No Man's Sky on the Quest 3. I think now it could be done, but I don't think it would look as good as PSVR 2. You see your Tantrum, the SoC on the Quest 3 is not even close to a PS5 hardware, but it is no slouch either. It is compared to that of a PS4 Pro, I assume, which is decent for good VR graphics. You know what? I really don't know, because a lot of developers did not take advantage of the PS4 Pro. We saw a lot of PSVR 1 games that looked like glittery, shimmery dog shit that never got the Pro patch. What we got was the PS4 version. The original Firewall, the aliasing was bad on there. It got a Pro patch, but I didn't see any difference. The aliasing was still horrible. See here, Cold Yogurt, Quest 3 has really bad battery time. With the Elite battery strap, it took 4 hours to change for 2 hours to play via AirLink. I do not trust Meta's own Elite strap, because the Elite strap that they made for the Quest 2, they were cracking. I went through 2 of them, so I don't trust it. I would go with a Bobo. I would go with a Bobo strap, or I don't know anything about Kiwi, but I would even give them a try before I give Meta's own proprietary shit a try. Tantrum, my problem with Quest 3 is the accessories. This is where they get you. A modded Quest 3 will be expensive. For me, it'll be expensive if I make it expensive, because this strap doesn't really bother me. As I was saying, that it's not comfortable, but it's not uncomfortable either. It's just there. I actually find this face gasket to be more of a nuisance than this head strap. So oh yeah. Okay. All right, I have to check some things here. So I'll be ready to wrap it up here in a minute. Damn, I've been on for an hour and a half. Hey, but I love this though. I love when we have a conversation like this, because I only meant to be on about a half hour, 45 minutes, but you guys kept the conversation going. I really enjoyed it. Tantrum, if you want more battery life and better comfort, then you want powerful Wi-Fi or cable to get good PC experience. Or with the Quest 3, it is not primarily going to be used as a PC headset. I will stick with my Quest Pros as the PC headset. And then you need a good PC that can encode, decode that Link Plus, get virtual desktop on that to get the best out of it. Quest 3 does look good though, which it does. Oh. And Kevin, you say get a PSVR 2? And again, that brings me back to one of those situations where if somebody says I'm getting a PSVR 2, hey, I'll give them the thumbs up. You know, I'll give them the thumbs up. I won't try to talk them out of it. Just because I've been disappointed with it doesn't mean everybody else should either. I mean, I think if you're happy with it, then I think that's a plus for you, and I think that's a plus for VR in general, because what we don't want to keep happening is people getting more and more disheartened with PSVR 2 and sell or return the PSVR 2s, because I am seeing a good number of PSVR 2s on eBay. So but I will say that I definitely plan to sell one of my PS5s. I mean, I guess on a little bit of a bad note, over the past week, maybe 2 weeks, I think I've used my PSVR 2 a total of 15 minutes. Maybe a half an hour. I used it long enough for the red matter comparisons between Quest 3 and PC. And then I also spent a few minutes in it comparing NFL Pro Era between PSVR 2 and PC. And PC looks much, much sharper. Quest 3 has a sleek form factor compared to the bulky PSVR 2. Here, let me go grab my PSVR 2 and I'm going to show you, as far as comfort goes, I'll show you what my issue is with PSVR 2. Now, for me, with PSVR 2, in terms of the comfort, this part of it right here, the way they made this crown, instead of sitting across your forehead, it feels like it sits more on top of it. And because of that, it slides around really easy. So I have to really, really, really crank it to keep it tight so it won't move around. And the problem with that is, I believe the head haptics, I believe the head haptics are right around in here, because I feel, you know, I feel some bumps in there. And I believe that is a coil for the head haptics. And when you crank the PSVR 2 down, it leaves a mark across your forehead. And not only that, when I crank it really tight, I end up getting a headache from it, because I feel like it's cutting off, you know, I feel like it's cutting off the blood circulation. So games where I'm required to do a lot of head movement, I cannot wear this thing very long, because again, this part of it right here, if you make it tight, it will dig into your head. But if you leave it loose, it's not very secure, because again, instead of sitting across your head right here, it feels like it sits right up there on the crown of your head. Library is another concern for PSVR 2. I don't think the games ain't gonna be an issue. The only games that could be an issue is what Sony gives us, but all the other games are not going to be an issue. No F1, no WRC, and that brings me to the point of something that I said, and I think somebody else said it in the chat. I think the PSVR 2 is underpowered for certain games. A game like Microsoft Flight Simulator with VR support, you will never see that on PSVR 2, and it has nothing to do with Microsoft owning the game. I think even if Microsoft was willing to let the game come to PlayStation, it would only be on the console, because I don't think PSVR 2 would be able to run it and make it look good. It would look like dog shit. I thought we would have gotten F1 23, but no support there, no mention of it. And I'll tell you a couple other things too. WRC is not going to launch with VR support, but it is coming later for PC, but not, and that's it. No mention of VR support for PSVR 2. Other things that I find puzzling about PSVR 2. The upcoming Phasmophobia game. On PC, the best thing about Phasmophobia is the spirit box. When you go into these houses and you call out the ghost name, and then the ghost will answer you. The PSVR version of Phasmophobia will not have the spirit box. What's going to happen is you press a button and a drop window opens, and then you go down and select the name of the ghost and press the button, and that's supposed to be you calling out the ghost. No spirit box. F1 23 on PC has voice interaction. I'm in the car racing and I hit a button and I say vehicle condition. And the team principal will come back and tell me, okay, your tires are good, fuel is good, you got enough fuel to finish the race, we're going to finish the race on soft tires. I hit the button. I say car in front. And the team principal will say to me, the car in front is 3.4 seconds ahead of you. He's on soft tires. He's running at this pace, yada, yada, yada. You don't have that on the Xbox version or the PlayStation version. I've seen compromises in GT7. Case in point, when I play Assetto Corsa Competizione in VR, any camera angle that you can use flat screen, you can use that same camera angle in VR. So, even in VR, you can still use the case cam, the chase cam, the cockpit view, the bonnet view, the street, the open view. You can do all that in VR on Assetto Corsa Competizione. You cannot do that on GT7. The cockpit view is the only view. If you make any attempt to get out of your play space, the entire screen will black out, and the only thing you have is a wire frame of the car that you're supposed to be sitting in until you get back into your play space. Assetto Corsa Competizione, I don't know if they meant for it to be that way, but I can get out of my car and stand next to the car and look at it. Assetto Corsa Competizione is a very demanding game, and by their own admission is not that well optimized for PC. But every feature that's there flat screen is there in VR. GT7, flat screen. You got the standings. Cold Yogurt is in first place. Great Tantrum is in second place. Gory Glory is in third place. When you're in VR, it doesn't show you those standings. Flat screen. You got your lap times. It shows lap 1 that you did 2 minutes and 1 second. Lap 2, you did 2 minutes flat. Lap 3, you did 159.8. And so on and so on and so on and so on. That is not there in VR. With GT7, I think in order to get this thing to run good, they had to strip out so many tiny pieces here and there. A lot of shit that people don't really notice, but I notice because I race in VR and I've been doing it for years. So I've seen some of the compromises. And then the biggest issue of them all is the reprojection. I think that GT7, if it were on PC, if it was on PC VR, I think it would be a fairly demanding game to try to run that game with a native frame rate. I think it would take at least a PC with a 3080 in it to be able to run it at a native 90 frames. But the PS5 does not have enough power, in my opinion, to run that game at a native 90 frames, and that's why we have the 120 frames reprojection. I've told this story so many times. The developers of Assetto Corsa Competizione, they're named Kunos. One of the guys in particular, his name is Aristalis, or Aris for short. For a while, once a month, he would do streams where he would give back to the community, where he would like take people from his Discord, have them do a few laps, and then give them tips on how to be faster. Because he has so many people watching at once, the best way to get his attention would be to super chat him. And this wasn't a situation where he refuses to answer you because he wants a few dollars for super chats. It's just it was so many people in the comments that the best way to get his attention was to send a super chat. So I sent a super chat and I asked him, I said, will Assetto Corsa Competizione get VR support on PS5? And his exact answer was, too many resources. The console's not strong enough. When he said that, and this was like 8 months before PSVR 2 came out. When he said that, I was like, maybe he's lying. Maybe he's under NDA from Sony. Maybe Sony told him they can't talk about it. He wasn't lying. There is no way, because it took me building a $4,000 PC with a 4090 in it and a $1,000 Quest Pro to make ACC look good in VR. When I played ACC on my Alienware that had a 2070 in it, it looked like absolute dog shit. The developer was right. There's no way that ACC would run on PSVR 2 and look good. Even with the reprojection, it would be absolutely horrible. Coming back to some of these comments, after looking to see in tests, it looks to me that you want at least a 3070 7700 GPU in an i12. Yeah, And I think you could build a PC with those specs for somewhere between $900 and $1,100, and then you know, if you get the if you want to go super cheap, like I said, you can probably find a Rift S for about $100, or you can jump all the way up to a Quest 3 for $500, and you'd be looking at around $1,500, which on paper is $400 more than PSVR 2 and PS5. But then you also have to factor in the $80 a year that you would be paying for PlayStation Plus over the next few years. So after a few years, PSVR and PS5 could end up being more expensive than that PC, because nobody pays any kind of Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus on PC to play multiplayer games. Tantrum. Gran Turismo 7 is and still is the only big racing game available on VR2. Not because VR2 is just 8 months old, or Sony thinks that it is all the racing game we need, or the latest racers are too much. I'll put it this way. Ham and I have had this discussion. I've said it over and over again that I think one of the reasons why we haven't gotten other games, racing games on PSVR 2, is because it's underpowered. I think we can all agree a game like Microsoft Flight Simulator would never run on PSVR 2. I mean, hell, as it was on PC when the 3090 was the strongest GPU out there, it was still struggling to run at 40 frames per second. You know, it took the creation of DLSS 3 in order to run Microsoft Flight Simulator at like 70 frames per second flat screen. If you don't have a super beefy PC and you try to run Microsoft Flight Simulator in VR, your PC might burn up. I truly believe there is no way. Even F123 had problems on PC. I mean, not F122. It was a broken piece of shit in VR when that game first launched. They've worked on it and they got it better, but it's still a little bit funky when you first boot it up. That is another game that I think would not run well on PSVR 2. But I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. If this time next year, if GT7 is still the only racing game on PSVR 2 with VR support, that is very telling. Again, Ham and I have had this discussion more than once. And I said it before that I think it's because PSVR 2, PS5 is underpowered for certain games. Ham thinks it's probably because maybe somebody like EA got a development kit late and they really haven't had time to really optimize it. So I said, okay, I'll give you that. And I said, so I think maybe we can agree that by this time next year, if we do not see F124 with VR support on PSVR 2, that is very telling. We're at a point now when it comes to racing games. I think Forza is the only major racing game that does not have any sort of VR support. And I think that, that just comes down, in my opinion, I think it comes down to Microsoft not wanting to spend the extra money on labor to add VR to it. But given how the shit has been performing on some of these PCs, the VR probably wouldn't be good on PC either. Stretch. PSVR 2 had Mira, Fresnel lenses that won't stand up to the test of time. Those Fresnel lenses, as far as I'm concerned, are already obsolete. I said this earlier in my stream, I think the pancake lenses of the Quest 3 have solidified that pancake lenses are now industry standard. I think now PSVR 2 is the only major headset without pancake lenses. Quest 3 pancake lenses open the door, and the Pico 5 is coming with OLED. The Pico 4 has pancake lenses. Quest Pro, Quest 3 have pancake lenses. The Vario Aero has pancake lenses. I believe the Big Screen Beyond has pancake lenses. Pimax Crystal has its spheric lenses, which I'll just say is their version of pancake lenses. I think if HP were to continue to make headsets, that the next Reverb would have pancake lenses, leaving PSVR 2 as the only major headset without pancake lenses. Woodhead. Most PS5 VR games are PC games and too few exclusives. I think it's half and half. I think a good chunk of those games on PSVR 2 are Quest ports. There are some games that PSVR 2 just cannot handle. I'll give you an example. Green Hell VR. I have Green Hell VR on PC. And again, I gotta remind everybody for the 9,000th time that my main PC in there has a 4090 in it. I'm playing Green Hell VR, and the pop-in was horrible. Everything in front of me just looked like flat sand. But as I'm walking forward, plants just started magically sprouting right in front of my feet as if somebody poured magic water on it. That's how bad the pop-in was. The vegetation and grass and shit like that didn't appear until I was only like a mere couple of feet away from it. When I saw that shit on my PC running a 4090, I said, there's no way this shit is going to run on PSVR 2. They gave us the Quest port and it was still a broken piece of shit. I think that like PSVR 2, PS5, what we are getting is, what I have noticed is we are getting Quest ports or downgraded PC ports. Another case in point, PokerStars VR. And I do not know why this is. But the PC version and the Quest version, the avatars have an entire upper half body. You have a head, a torso, full arms. The PSVR version, all you pretty much have is a head and floating hands. That's it. The store within PokerStars VR. On the PC version, there's about 15 pages worth of items you can purchase. On the PSVR 2 version, there's only about 5 pages. I know a lot of it has to do with the tobacco and alcohol, props that they sell. Like on the PC version of PokerStars VR, you can buy like a bottle of beer, you can buy a 6-pack of beer. Whereas on the PSVR version, there's the only drinks that you could buy on the PSVR version of PokerStars is basically water. It's bottled water. You can buy cigarettes and cigars on the PC version. You can't buy it on the PSVR version. Gamertag, my guy, how you doing? So yeah, I've been going at it, man, for like damn near 2 hours. See, Tantrum is telling the EA Codemasters won't release WRC 23 VR on PS5, yet funny they released Grid Legends on Quest 2. that I do find puzzling because if they, as far as the graphics goes, if they release the game that look like that on Quest 2, which I gotta reiterate once again that is another game, Grid Legends, I am hoping that it gets the Quest 3 treatment. I'm hoping it gets the Quest 3 enhancements, because for all the heat that game took, people were talking about a lazy port and stuff like that. No, I can tell you, as a person who's played sim racing in VR, is very demanding. These racing games in VR are very demanding, and that's how I ended up spending so much damn money building what I built. My PC with the 4090, I spent $4,000 building that PC. You know, I was just on a Crewcast explaining how much I spent. My racing cockpit, the wheelbase, pedals, all that shit, $3,000. My PC with the 4090 in it, $4,000. This PC that I'm sitting here right now with a 3080 in it, $3,000. My third PC in the bedroom with a 3070 Ti in it, $2,000. The headsets, got 8 headsets. I paid $1,000 for my first Quest Pro. Paid $650. Now I paid $550 for the second one. But where I'm saying all that to say this, that the first time that I ever played a set of Corsa Competizione on PC VR was on my Alienware that had a 2070 in it, and it looked like dog shit. From there, over the years, I spent thousands of dollars building, either upgrading my PC or building multiple PCs. Gamertag, you said it's almost 7 a.m. in the UK. I think you guys probably made your no, you're still 5 hours in front of us. Grid Legends was a meta paid conversion. It won't get updated unless meta pays a significant amount of money, and it gets so much hate publicly due to creators riding the trend and hating on the graphics. I'm not defending the graphics, but the gameplay is solid, and that's what I was about to say, Gamertag. People don't understand. You are trying to put an entire racing game on a headset that has about as much power as an Android phone. For as bad as that game may look, I'm amazed that they got it on there. They didn't get like a part of the game. They got the entire game on there. The online multiplayer in the lobbies holds 16 cars. That's the equivalent to PlayStation VR 2 or GT7. 16 cars in the online lobby. You got a ton of cars to choose from. You got an entire campaign to play. I played the game. Gamertag sent me a key to the game. The audio is pretty good. The physics are pretty good. The physics were good enough that I wanted to find a way to plug my wheel into my Quest 2 headset. Now, I understand you have to use some kind of APK file or something like that you get from AppLab or some shit like that, and you can plug a wheelbase into the Quest 2 and play it with a racing wheel. But in any case, the physics were pretty good, the audio was pretty good, and there was actually a decent amount of people playing online. The graphics were the only bad part about the game, and I think the graphics were probably the most demanding part of the game. We've already come to the conclusion that any game that we see on PC, it's going to look like what it's going to look like. It's going to look like what it's going to look like on the consoles, on Xbox and PlayStation. But we also concede that, okay, like take a game like Call of Duty, for instance. We all can see that it's probably going to look good on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. We also concede that it's going to be massively downgraded on the Nintendo Switch. That being said, it should have been a reasonable expectation that there was no way that Grid Legends was going to look like the PS5 version. All that being said, I think the developers did what they could. Now, with the power of the Quest 3, if we would have seen a game that looked like that on the Quest 3, then yeah, I think everybody might have a good leg to stand on in terms of griping and yelling and screaming and shit like that. But I think the developers, I think they took some unfair heat. You would never expect the PC version of Call of Duty to look the same on an Android phone as it would on PC. And I think it should have been the same way with Grid Legends on Quest 2. I only played it a couple of times, but I liked it. I like the physics, I like the audio, and I'd like to see this game get a Quest 3 patch, even though, you know, Gamertag, for the most part, I believe is right that it probably won't happen unless Meta's willing to pay for it, but I still like to see that happen. I'd like to see Premium Bowling get a Quest 3 enhancement. I've already mentioned that I'd like to see Contractors and Pavlov get Quest 3 enhancements. So, Tantrum. I was in the impression that PSVR 2 with PS5 is that we could get PC quality VR gaming on console. Sony exclusives on top of that, but not always the case, it seems. I knew PC is always going to be superior. That's just the way it is. That being said, no. But I thought that PlayStation VR would come close. Pavlov comes pretty close. The downgrades in Pavlov are so small because I spent hours looking at the comparisons between the PC and the PSVR 2 version. Graphically, it's hard to notice the downgrades. The biggest thing that stands out about the PSVR 2 version of Pavlov is that the edges are soft. Same deal with Saints and Sinners. I think blow for blow, all the assets are there, but it's soft. The visuals look soft, whereas PC looks razor sharp. Stretch. Most PSVR folks are new to VR and haven't experienced PC VR, and PSVR is an easy plug and play and the trade-off downgrade. When Sony first announced PSVR 2, they were saying that they were aiming towards mass adoption. I'm beginning to think that's not the case. I'm beginning to think that when they announced PSVR 2, PSVR 2 is starting to feel like a device for Sony to retain its own user base rather than go mainstream. I mean, some people think the Resident Evil 4 remake is gonna, sell like hotcakes and it's gonna be a system seller. I really don't know. What are we gonna get after that? So, I mean, like, I think Ghostbusters is going to be cool from a co-op standpoint, but I don't think it'll really do anything for me. I think the only thing that would even make me even remotely interested in Ghostbusters 3 is if it gets the Quest 3 treatment. Let's see here. PSVR will never have mixed reality. Like I said, you know, the Quest 3, in my opinion, already makes PSVR 2 looks like a dinosaur. I mean, you know, yeah, it's got a couple of things about it that makes it cool with the haptics and the HDR, but other than that, I mean, PSVR 2 kind of feels like a dinosaur to me. I mean, that should tell you something about my PSVR, that it was in that room right there, but yet the controllers are right here. Show us Quest 3 and VR 2 for the camera. Okay. So, here's a Quest 3. And here's what PSVR 2. I think, as you can see, PSVR 2 is significantly bigger. Oh, look at that! Look at that side view! Holy shit! And then you look at it from the top. Yeah. Tantrum, Until You Fall is not good on PSVR 2. That was the other title. You know the thing about it, Tantrum, this is where I think some of the deceptive marketing comes in. Because I think there was a little bit of deceptive marketing right from the word go, because they showed us Until You Fall, and they showed Pavlov with these extra crispy 4K trailers. And then I get inside PSVR 2, and Pavlov did not have that 4K sharpness. I feel like PSVR 2 on some of these games, I think PSVR 2 feels like PSVR 1.5. There are some games that did look amazing, like Red Matter 2 did look amazing on PSVR 2. It looked tremendous. I think after they patched Switchback, I think Switchback looked decent too, but the reprojection was there. And I think with PSVR 2, I think Alvo had a fairly sharp picture on PSVR 2, and that was an excellent move by Steve, giving you the choice of 90 frames native or the reprojection. Tantrum, Quest 3 is much smaller, yet has a computer and audio built in. The VR 2 is bulkier, and none of those things amazing. Yeah. Stretch, Wingman on PSVR 2 was a downgrade from PC version, and another piece of deceptive marketing. They did it twice on the original PSVR. When they advertised Ace Combat 7 and they advertised the VR support, I don't think they told us in the beginning that there was only 3 missions. I think when people kept asking and asking and asking and asking, then they finally came out and said it only has 3 VR missions. The other thing that I think they did with Ace Combat 7 was the DLC. I think what Sony did with the DLC, it wasn't deceptive, but it wasn't transparent either. When the DLC was announced for Ace Combat 7, once again, people were asking, is there going to be new VR missions? They kept asking, and Sony never said anything. And I think they remained silent purposely in the hopes that people would buy the DLC, thinking or hoping there would be VR content there. Because if I would have kept asking, does the Ace Combat 7 have DLC, VR DLC, and I keep asking and they don't say anything, and then I go and buy it and I find out there's no new VR missions added to it, I would be pissed. But it would be hard for me to get mad at Sony because they never said that it did have new VR missions, but they never said that it didn't. So by that logic, they didn't lie, but they weren't transparent either. That brings us to Project Wingman. I believe they sat there and observed the whole thing, and they knew that people were starving for a complete flight game. And we got it on PC. And I remember when PSVR 2 first came out, I was screaming to the mountaintops. I was like, Project Wingman is a game that I think could come to PSVR 2. And I said, if it does, I said, you guys are going to get the full treatment. You guys are going to get the full VR game where you can play the complete game in VR. And then we got the shit that we got. The day that Project Wingman dropped on PSVR 2, I had found out that the game had only 6 VR missions before I even found out that the game dropped. It's supposed to go the other way around. I'm supposed to find out that the game dropped, then I'm supposed to find out about the missions. I come home from work and I see Twitter plastered with shit, people talking about only 6 missions. 6 missions? What the fuck is everybody talking about? Then I dig deeper and like, oh shit. That marketing was so deceptive. 6 exclusive missions for PSVR 2. That led everybody to believe that there was a reason why the game was called Project Wingman 59. That was why. 6 exclusive missions for PSVR 2 misled everybody into believing that you were going to get the 21 missions that were on PC, fully playable in VR, plus 6 bonus missions. Deceptive, underhanded, scummy. With that being said, the upcoming Aces of Thunder that's supposed to come to PSVR 2, I am a little bit apprehensive about that game because the name is different. I think the PC version of this game is called War Thunder. But the PlayStation VR version of this game is being called Aces of Thunder. My original thought for the different name of the PlayStation VR version is because they're probably going to charge you. They're going to charge you for the game, but I believe it is a free-to-play game on PC. So by changing the name of the game, you can't scream that you're paying for a game on PlayStation that's free on PC, because technically you are getting a different version of the game just off the title alone. But I am apprehensive about this game on two fronts. The deceptive marketing and these bad launches with these games have gotten so bad, I almost feel like the developers were lining up one right after the other. I know this game is dog shit, but we're going to try to push it through. Oh shit, Green Hell VR got through, but everybody's pissed off about it. They're probably gonna be mad when they find out our game is fucked up too, but we gotta try the same shit. We gotta try to push it through just like they did. Making it tougher for the next developer right behind them. With each bad launch, with each deceptive marketing campaign, they make it harder for the next developer. I didn't buy Green Hell VR on PSVR 2 because I knew it was not going to be the PC version after what I experienced on PC. And when they showed us that they released a Quest version that was broken, and the deceptive marketing, because in the beginning the deceptive marketing was all these 4K trailers that we were seeing, and then we actually get the game and we see reprojection. So now they had to start being transparent about that. If they want their game to sell, they either have to specify that it doesn't have reprojection, or say that the reprojection is light and you just barely notice it. And then this shit just elevated to the point where we just getting these broken ass these broken games at launch. Tantrum War of Thunder is also going to be downgraded, coming to PSVR 2, called Aces of Thunder. It's coddled and more basic version. That's what I heard. Oh, you said that's right. That was my impression. So, based on the trailers that they showed us, Aces of Thunder looks like it. It looked like it's got the potential to be a pretty good game. A multiplayer dogfight game. When I first heard the game was coming, it was a no-brainer that I would get it. But now, because of all the shit that's been happening with PSVR 2, I don't trust it. I had somebody on Twitter talking about the Project Wingman thing. They try to defend Sony and say, no, that, you know, that was the developer, not Sony. I said, no, that was Sony too, because they're the ones who ran that trailer. Sony is just as guilty as the developer was. So, am I done with PSVR? Not yet. But I know my days of pre-ordering games from PSVR are definitely over. Said many people are on them. Never get hyped again until the reviews. mean, the deceptive marketing has gotten so bad that even Brian Paul, somebody who would die for PSVR, is having to tell people don't pre-order games. Oh, yeah, I mean, damn. Yeah, we opened up a big can of worms talking about PlayStation VR. You know, I guess it came out. I have been somewhat trying to avoid talking about PSVR because since I'm disappointed with PlayStation VR, I didn't want a situation where every time I start talking about PlayStation VR, it has to be negative all the time, because I still kind of maintain what I said about PlayStation VR when it first came out, and people was asking me, what do you think? And I told them that it's good for what it is. And I'm still along those lines. A lot of people are enjoying PlayStation VR, and that's a good thing. You will not hear me try to say, oh, that's trash. You know, don't get that. Get rid of that PlayStation VR. You never gonna hear me say that. Because at the end of the day, I still want to see VR go forward, just like the rest of my fellow VR content creators. Is, you know, but some of the issues that we've been having with PlayStation VR has not helped. I mean, they gotta get this shit together, or at the very least be a little more transparent, or if these games ain't ready, delay them. Big lesson: do not pre-order. Show. I was rooting for Sony for a while. I was hoping in 2024 they'd have some surprises, but I'm not hopeful. I wanted to succeed. I wanted to succeed too. But honestly, I think that PlayStation VR right out the gate might have already been fighting an uphill battle, because Sony don't market the shit. They making goddamn tweets on Twitter. I think they are relying on us content creators to promote PSVR 2. This free advertising. When the Quest 2 came out, damn near every 15 minutes, whatever you might be watching on YouTube is getting interrupted with a Beat Saber commercial. Facebook marketed the shit out of Quest 2. And I think that's the biggest reason why it sold as many headsets as it did. I mean, they marketed the shit out that headset. I mean, I think with PSVR 1, Sony did minimum marketing. And then with PSVR 2, like I said, we getting goddamn tweets. One or two commercials, but the rest of the shit is tweets. They disrespect us with the state of plays and put on these damn shows that last a half an hour, and only show 2 VR games. I mean, I don't even watch this shit anymore. I just wait for everybody to report on it after it's over. Let's see here. Gamertag. Go into your comment tantrum regarding PSVR 2 versus PC. Vertical Robot and other developers have shown PSVR 2 can achieve incredible results, but so many lazy ports and some games that no one care about. That's part of the reason, Gamertag, when we were talking on the Crewcast, why I was saying that one of the good things about, I think, Quest 3 one of the good things that I think is going to do for PSVR 2 is that once, I'll say it again, that once Quest 2 is phased all the way out, Quest 3 becomes the lowest common denominator. So even if these developers do lazy ports, if the work is good on PSVR, if the work is good on Quest 3, and they just copy and paste it straight on over to PSVR 2, I would like to think that it should still look decent. And I think if the foundation is already there from Quest 3, you know, there's going to be less work, I would like to think, to optimize it. You know, whether they have to add a coat of paint, or whether they have, you know, or whether they have to strip a coat of paint off. Let's see here. There seems to be some kind of internal battle at Sony. I don't know. Gamertag says propagation looks awesome on PSVR 2. Similar to what Meta is going through internally. Tantrum is responding to Gamertag. I assume PS5 and VR2 has a potential. Could the lazy developing, but why? That just hurts VR marketing, half-baked games. Yeah, I mean, this that's not a good look when you want to try to get somebody into VR for the first time. They want quick cash, and Sony seems to be okay with it. I think the difference between Sony and everyone else is that PSVR 2 is meant to withstand the lifespan of the PS5 as an accessory to the PS5. Let me tell you why I don't think I'm going to get a PS5 Pro. Next month, PS5 will be 3 years old. Next February coming up, PSVR 2 will be a year old. We will be headed into the 4th year of the life cycle of the PS5. I think PSVR 2 should have launched 1 year after PS5, not 3 years later. So, if we get a PS5 Pro, which I'm guessing we will probably get it in 2025, well, by then, PSVR 2 will be 2 years old, but PS5 will be 5 years old. And console generation seems to last anywhere from 5 to 8 years. So if we get a PS5 Pro, if we were to get it in 2025 or 2026, we wouldn't have much time to enjoy it before we're already looking at the next VR headset if Sony continues to stay in the VR market. We would already start hearing talks about PSVR 2 and that kind of shit. So a PS5 Pro would basically be coming near the twilight of the generation. And I do not want to spend $500, $600, $700 for a console that I'm probably only going to get 2 good years out of it before we're already looking at the next generation. I have to assume that PSVR 6, I would have to assume that PS6 would probably launch in 2027, 2028. If PS5 Pro comes out in 2025 and PS6 comes out in 2027, that's only 2 years that you got to use it before you got to move on to the PS6. And by that time, PSVR 2 would be a super dinosaur. No telling what kind of headsets we might have by then. Because as it stands, when it comes to PC headsets, the headsets are way ahead of the game. We've got $2,000 headsets and still got games that look like, you know, you still got games with Rec Room type graphics. I think in the case, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so glad about Quest 3, is because I do not think, in terms of the technology moving with the software, I think now, you know, Quest 3 and the games will be here. With PC, the headsets are here in terms of the technology, but the games are still here. The games haven't, you know, I don't think the games have caught up with the headsets. The games are way behind the headsets. Back in the golden days of PC VR, with games like Stormland and Lone Echo, Half-Life Alyx, the games were ahead of the hardware. Because back then, we could say that the games were beautiful, but the headsets were blurry. Now we got super powerful headsets, and a lot of games that still look like dog shit. So yeah, that's another reason why I like. That's another reason why I like the future of Quest 3. I think the games, and again the headset, is going to be balanced. And again, games getting Quest 3 enhancements, along with whatever Dr. Beef brings us, whatever magic he gives us. You know, I'll be back to being that type of person where I won't walk out of the house without taking my Quest 3 with me. Tantrum, PS5 should realistically be out by 2028 with a 2027 reveal, but you never know. And Gamertag's laughing. And me, what do you think of Quest Plus subscription plan? Free games a month. I think as a consumer, I think it's okay. But I'm not sure how the developers feel about it, because they still got to make a living. When it comes to Game Pass, Microsoft is trying to monopolize the entire industry. They do that, they'll be able to strong-arm developers and tell them, this is what we're giving you to put your game on Game Pass, take it or leave it. The way things are right now, they still have options. If they have a game that they really know, if they have a game that they know is great, they can take it over to PlayStation and then bring it over to Game Pass when the sales start to taper off. But if Microsoft takes over the entire industry like they want to try to do, then they'll be able to strong arm the shit out of developers. I don't want to see that happen to the VR developers. I don't want, because like, these VR games are the most creative games that you'll ever see. But I think some of these devs don't have the budget to make these games at a high quality. The quality might even get worse if we saw a situation where Meta was to monopolize the VR industry and strong arm the shit out of these developers and say, you know, this is how much we're giving you, take it or leave it. And then we're going to see shovelware everywhere. Gamertag, wow, Lincoln, That was brutal but funny. I agree tech-wise. The PSVR 2 still offer great graphics, eye-tracking visuals, but I do worry about its lifespan. PlayStation won't throw money at software if no one buying hardware. It's a chicken and the egg scenario, but badly need first-party software currently. Agreed. But I get like the radio silence with Sony. Even the build up to PSVR 2, like that shit pissed me off. They would not tell us anything unless they got forced to. If information got leaked, then they would tell us something because they had to get on top of it. But there wasn't any commercials advertising PSVR, we get a commercial after the headset already launched, but leading up to it, we didn't get any commercials. We didn't get deep dives. Somebody leaked some information and then Sony comes out, with a tweet. Yes, okay. PlayStation VR will be 20 by 48. It will have these type of controllers. It will have HDR, yada, 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 yada. They didn't have any big, giant type of E3 show advertising PSVR 2. We got footnotes on fucking Twitter. I mean, like the situation with when Brian Paul leaked out the specs of the controllers. That's the only reason why Sony came out and said anything. And I say all of that to say this, Gamertag. I mean, you probably know better than I do, being that you talk to way more developers than I have. I would like to think that Sony might have a few things planned, but because they march to the beat of their own drum and they talk when they feel like talking, or they talk when somebody forces them to talk, we just don't know. Hell, look at this situation with Gran Turismo. The servers have been down for 2 weeks. For almost a week, Sony did not say anything until all the big YouTubers started coming together on Twitter and started saying, what's the deal? Why can't we get some transparency? Why can't we get some communication? And I think Sony felt the tension, and then they finally released footnotes on the Gran Turismo game. Then they finally were transparent and said, yes, we are aware of bugs, we're working on it. When Gran Turismo first came out, about a month after it came out, the servers went down for 36 hours. Sony was silent and didn't say shit to anybody. All the content creators started getting upset and they started threatening to go to Assetto Corsa Competizione. They got the issue fixed, they gave everybody an apology, and they gave everybody 1 million credits. The reason why the servers went down for 36 hours is because when the game first came out, everybody was upset about the microtransactions, and they found a way around the microtransactions called farming, where they find a game that has a high payout and they run that race over and over and over again to collect in-game credits. Sony found out about that, and that's a problem. Because if people are finding ways to farm their in-game credits, that means they're not buying these ridiculous microtransactions that we got out there. So we got to stop it. So they tried to put an update out to try to adjust the payouts, and it broke the game. They were trying to protect the microtransactions. Point is, though, they didn't say anything to anybody until they started threatening to go to another format. So again, Sony talks when they feel like it, or when they get forced into talking. The situation recently with these servers being down for 2 weeks, and after about a week, and all the content creators saying, hey, about a little bit of transparency, they had to do it. Forza was right around the corner. If Sony would have continued to be silent, everybody would have went over to Forza. Tantrum, Resident Evil 4 remake for PSVR 2. Any takers on this version? No. I have to wait and see. Not so much that I have to wait for the PSVR 2 version of the game, because I'm waiting to see if Luke Ross or Prey Dog, has a mod out there for it. I don't know if there's a mod out there for it or not. I have not been following the PC mod scene that close lately because I spend so much damn time sim racing. But if there is a VR mod out there for Resident Evil 4 Remake on PC, if I want to play it in VR, I'm liable to go that route. At least playing it on my PC, at least I can control the frame rate and motion blur, reprojection, asynchronous space warp. I have control over all of that. I give credit where it's due, though. What we've seen of it looks good. But I am a little bit concerned about the reprojection. So, one thing's for certain. Seeing how Sony... You know what? I just thought about something. Earlier this week, Sony had a huge sale with a lot of VR games being discounted. I was watching, are you gonna take off, Tantrum? Alright, thanks for popping in. I'm gonna wrap this up in a few minutes, but I'll say this before I get out of here. Earlier this week, on PSVR Without Parole, Wes and Brian were going through all the games that were on sale at the PlayStation Store and giving it a yay or a nay. I think a few of those games that were on sale were games that got mixed reality updates. I think games that might be slated to get a Quest 3 enhancement. So I feel like Sony might be trying to get in front of everybody, and throw that bait out there and get people to buy the game on PlayStation VR 2 before it hits Quest 3 and gets a Quest 3 enhancement or gets a mixed reality enhancement. The Demeo, even though I never played it, it looks much more attractive on Quest 3 now than it does on PSVR 2. At least that's, on the outside looking in. So, we'll see. With that, I started to get a little bit of a scratchy throat. We're coming up on the 3-hour mark. What was only supposed to be a half an hour final verdict on Quest 3 versus Quest Pro. We opened up that can of worms of PlayStation VR 2, and it's been quite a lengthy conversation. But I definitely want to thank you all, because I definitely enjoyed it, because if you guys had not kept the conversation going, I would have shut this stream down a long time ago. So I really enjoyed it, and and I hope we can do more of this stuff. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stretch out. It's 2:36 a.m. here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I got a few things I gotta do today, but I also want to get up. I want to take a nap for a few hours, and I want to get up and play some games. Show futuristic. Thank you, really appreciate it. So, with that, hey, thank you for the conversation, show. Appreciate it. Cold Yogurt, thanks for popping in. I hope you enjoyed that Quest 3. You know, I saw a piece of your stream, saw you unbox the Quest 3, so I hope you enjoy it. And so I'm sure everybody in here knows whose gamertag is. But if you're not subscribed to his channel, make sure you subscribe to his channel. He's one of a handful of people that I trust. He's a good friend, and I definitely trust him. So definitely check him out. He is definitely honest. He's brutally honest, for better or for worse, with his reviews. And again, you know, going back to what I said at the beginning of the stream, the gamertag is not one of those guys who does a video and says 5 reasons why you should buy this, and then come back 2 days later with a video and says 5 reasons why you shouldn't buy it. You know, he puts it all into one video and then gives you his opinion of whether you should pick it up or not. So if you want good quality content with good honest opinions, check out Gamertag VR. So with that, I'm going to bid you all a good morning, because that's what it is here. And I'll definitely stream something again during this weekend, but I don't know what, don't know when, but we'll definitely do something. So until then, you all know the line. Wakanda forever, long live the king, and deuces. See ya everybody. Have a good one.